Hello children, hope you all are doing well today. Welcome to our exciting history class. In today's lesson, we'll be learning about something very interesting. Hope you all will enjoy it. Alright children, so I want you all to see who this personality is. Can you all recognize who this person is by looking at the pictures? Excellent. That is Shivaji Maharaj. Right? Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj. So who was Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj, children? That's right. He was a great leader, a warrior, and a king who was born in Maharashtra on 19th February 1630. And we all know, right, children? He ruled over most of Maharashtra. He established Swaraj for us. What do you mean by Swaraj? Swaraj means self-government. It means our own rule. He turned Swaraj into a kingdom that sought welfare for all. He was a very kind man who used to think about everybody. He used to have great respect for women. He used to take care of all sections of the society. He used to have same respect for all the religions. And he had so many good qualities in him, like leadership, commitment to truth and justice, and his attitude of equality and foresight. He was so good that he wanted equality and justice for everybody. So, children, tell me this. What was the state before the foundation of Swaraj? How was Maharashtra? How were the people treated? What were they feeling? What was going on in Maharashtra at that time before Shivaji Maharaj took over? Can anyone tell me? That's right. Yes, Maharashtra was under the domination of Adil Shahi, Siddhi, Portuguese, and Mughal powers. All of these powers together were wanting to rule over Maharashtra. They wanted to take over. There was so much competition between them, children. All these rulers coming from various parts of the world were wanting to established their rule in Maharashtra. And these rulers were not at all good. They didn't care about the people of Maharashtra, right? And they only wanted to pursue their own pleasure, their own enjoyment. They didn't do anything for the welfare of their subjects. And it was a terrible time for the people of Maharashtra. Their rulers kept fighting for more and more power, money, and it was troubling the people of Maharashtra so much. They were in distress, they were miserable, their condition was not good, there was injustice everywhere. And people were always scared and they could not, worship their own religion, they could not celebrate their festivals. As you can see, the state of the people of Maharashtra was not at all good before Shivaji Maharaj established Swaraj. So today, children, we will study what was the state of Maharashtra before the times of Shivaji Maharaj. So children, at the beginning of 17th century, most of the Maharashtra was under the control of Nizam Shah and Adil Shah. And there were Mughals also who wanted to expand their power in the south. They had come already and entered Khandesh. And there were other people like the Siddhi people, there was Portuguese, French, British and the Dutch who had strict competition and conflict amongst themselves and they wanted to acquire Maharashtra. And all of them wanted to capture the markets for trade. And the people who came from Europe were known as Topkar. And why were they called Topkar? Because of their headgear. And all these powers wanted to dominate over Maharashtra, and because of this, there was a lot of unrest in the hearts of the people of Maharashtra and a lot of instability and insecurity. So now let's understand and get familiar with what kind of settlements were there before the times of Shivaji Maharaj. What was Maharashtra like? What kind of settlements were there at that time? So the settlements which were there primarily were village, kasbah and fargana. As you can see in these pictures, village was also called as Mauja and kasbah and fargana. So we are going to study in detail about these establishments and settlements. So let's study more about what a village was. A village was also known as the Mauja. The chief of the village was the Patil. He was responsible for many things. He used to bring maximum land under the cultivation. He also resolved disputes for the people in the village. He ensured that peace and harmony was maintained at all time in the village. And he also had Kulkarni helping him out with his work. And Kulkarni helped him by keeping the records of the revenue collected. There were also various artisans in the village, children, who also had hereditary rights regarding the occupation. Like the skills ran in the family and were passed on from generation to generation. Like, for instance, the carpenter, the blacksmith, the cobbler, they all learned these skills and passed it on from one generation to the other. And there were also artisans who helped the service, who helped and gave their services to the village community. And so, for doing this kind act, the peasants gave the share of their produce to these artisans. And this share was called the baluta. So, children, who was the chief of the village? That's right, he was the Patil. So Patil was a very responsible man who used to make so many decisions on an everyday basis, right? He had to make decisions regarding the land, how to cultivate the land. He used to resolve so many disputes every single day for all the villagers. He used to ensure that peace and harmony is maintained in the village. Similarly, we should also make our decisions very rationally. We should weigh all our alternatives, we should do our research and find out whichever alternative we pick and decide that we're making the correct choice based on the consequences and also understanding all the alternatives. So now let's understand about Kasbah. So Kasbah was like a big village. It was usually the headquarters of the Pargana. For example, the Indapur Kasbah of Indapur Pargana, the Vai Kasbah of Vai Pargana, and agriculture was a main occupation in the Kasbah. There were various skilled artisans like the carpenter, blacksmith, and there was usually a market which was also called as a pet, which was adjacent to the Kasbah. Not all villages and Kasbah had the pet, but some of them definitely had it. And who were the Watandars of the pet? The Shetty and the Mahajan. And these people were responsible for setting up of the pet. And for that, they received some land from the government and also they received some rights from the villagers. And like we studied in the village, the records were maintained by the Kulkarni. Similarly, in Kasbah, the records were maintained by the Mahajan. So now let's study about Pargana. Now many villages together made a Pargana. And number of villages was not the same in all Parganas. For example, the Pune Pargana was very big and it consisted of almost 290 villages. Now who were the Watandar officers of the Pargana? Yes, they were the Deshmukhs and the Deshpandes. Now what the Deshmukh did was he was the chief of the Patils and Deshpande was the chief of all the Kulkarnis in the Pargana. Now these officers were the link between the people and the government. Now they used to represent the people and take all the grievances to the government. But sometimes these officers also misused their powers. They did not collect the money properly. They used to, not remit all the money which they used to collect and give to the government. Because of this, the people suffered harassment because the money which was collected from them was not passed on to the government on time. So definitely these officers misused their powers and troubled the people of the Pargana. So children, let's study about the calamity of the famine which took place at that time. A great famine occurred in Maharashtra in 1630. There was severe scarcity of food grains and the prices also rose because of the scarcity. Water became scarce. Every family was almost destroyed because of the lack of food, lack of water. As you can see, even the cattle and farm animals died because there was no fodder for the cattle. It was a very, very sad situation. Agriculture was devastated as it was dependent on water. The situation was so bad that the people were willing to sell themselves for a piece of bhakri, but there was no one to buy them. Famine put an end to all industries. All financial transactions came to a standstill. Because of this, people were forced to wander away to faraway regions in search of livelihood. So at that time, people of Maharashtra suffered so much because of environmental issues. Because of lack of rainfall, there was no food for them, there was no water, there was agriculture suffered so much. So it's very important for us to do whatever measures we can take, to do whatever we can do to save and protect our environment. It's very important for us to sustain and maintain the lifestyle which we have and our livelihood. And so it's very important that we do take all measures to protect our environment. Alright, let's study about some interesting facts. As per the order of Veer Mata Jijabai, a pet was established in Pashan near Pune. It was called Jijapur. Shivapur, adjacent to Khed, was a pet established in the name of Shivaji Maharaj. The words Budruk and Khurd are used to show that the two villages are different. The original town is known as the Budruk and the new one is called Khurd. For example, Vadgaon Budruk and Vadgaon Khurd. In Maharashtra, Vatan is used to refer to hereditary land for which the holder does not have to pay revenue. So children, today we've studied how the various powers wanted to take over Maharashtra, and we've also studied about the nature of various settlements like the village, the kasbah and the pargana, and we also studied how the famine hit Maharashtra in 1630. Alright, now let's do a quick recap. Let's see how much we have learnt in today's lesson. Are you all ready, children? That's great. Let's begin. So what was village also known as? That's correct. It was also known as Moja. Who were the Watandars of the Pargana? Yes, you are right. They were the Deshpandes and the Deshmukhs. Absolutely correct. Well done. And who was the chief of the village? That's right. He was the Patil. And what was the role of the Kulkarni? What did he do? That's right. He helped the Patil in keeping the records of the revenue collected. That's the last question for you children. What was agriculture dependent on? That's right. Agriculture was dependent on rainfall. Excellent. Now I have an interesting activity for you all children. Just visit the Google link which is mentioned below and complete all the exercises there. And you will find the Google link also in the description box. Now I have one homework for you all. Why were droughts a great calamity for the people? That's right. So I hope children you all have enjoyed today's class as much as I have enjoyed teaching you all. Take care and stay safe.